What is going on, everybody? It is Fingers the Boss bringing you another episode of Go Battle League Struggles, and today I'm going to be showcasing a triple psychic strategy team that I decided to run in the Ultra League Remix Cup. This team consists of a Lugia in the lead with Dragon Tail, Sky Attack, and Hydro Pump, a Defense Form Deoxys with Counter Thunderbolt and Psycho Boost, a Best Buddy Defense Form Deoxys, and an Armored Mewtwo running Confusion, Dynamic Punch, and Side Strike to give me coverage versus Dark and Steel type Pokemon. I will say up front, this is not the most suggested team that anybody runs just because of some of the things like Jellicent, Mandibuzz, Scrafty, or Giratina Origin that counters it. Unless you are really strategic in how you do these battles, I wouldn't suggest it, and if you do, I would probably suggest the Legacy Aeroblast on Lugia as opposed to Hydro Pump. I'm not willing to invest an Elite Charge TM into my Lugia for Ultra League because I'm saving that for my Lugia in Master League for the upcoming weeks that we're going to have. So I'm going to go ahead and throw these battles out here. Let me know what you guys think. I was able to only do one set with this team, so nothing too much. So we have a pretty bad but manageable lead here with Lugia going up against Giratina Origin. I'm just going to go ahead and throw the Sky Attack. Unlike the Giratina Altered, this one isn't defense weighted, so the Sky Attacks will do a pretty decent amount of damage. The Dragon Tails themselves right now are doing a pretty decent chunk of damage, and they're going to throw the Ominous Wind. I can take it, but they get the boost. So as bad as things look, I can shield here, probably get a second shield with a Sky Attack, and they get a second boost. Come on, Niantic, how? I've never encountered an opponent that got two boosts on two consecutive moves, but they go ahead and shield that up. So I have to bring out Armored Mewtwo because it can't take an Ominous Wind at this point. I'm hoping that this Side Strike is going to be enough in order to take it out, but I know that this thing just gains so much defense, and it laughs off that Side Strike. It doesn't do enough in order to take it out. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and lose the Armored Mewtwo. And I can only come in with the Defense Form Deoxys, but it really can't do much of anything right here. So I'm going to go ahead and counter this thing down, and depending on what they have in the back, I may have a chance, but, Giratina just took out a good chunk of my team. They come in with the Nidoqueen, so this thing is going to be spamming Poison Jabs and Poison Fangs. I go ahead and hit it with the Psycho Boost. It doesn't really do a whole lot of damage, but does a decent amount. And then they come in with the Alolan Ninetales. Now, my attack is already dropped here, so the Thunderbolt doesn't do much of anything, and they're just going to charm me down at this point. Oh no, they're not going to charm me down. They're going to throw out this Weather Ball, so that's going to be a good game. I feel like this battle could have been semi-close had that Giratina Origin not gotten two. Had they not gotten two of the boosts right there. So here's another problem to this team. We start off with a Drifblim versus the Lugia, and I think that I actually lost every lead while running this team. So I'm going to go ahead and let the first Icy Wind go through, and then they get to a second one. So now I'm thinking, what do I do here? I don't give up the shield. I'm just going to go ahead and throw this next Sky Attack, hoping to get a shield off of it. I was able to do so, and then they, for some odd reason, switched into Greedent. I didn't think that there was a need to do that. They probably could have farmed me down, but I'm not going to complain about the move. So they throw the Crunch, and of course, they get the defense drop. The game is just showing how much it hates me today. They're getting boost, defense drops. There's really not much that I can do in these situations, so I'm just going to go ahead and try to beat this thing down with counters. Defense Form Deoxys, thank goodness it's so bulky, because even with the defense drop, it's able to take that Crunch just fine. So they're going to go ahead and throw a Body Slam. That for sure would have KO'd if I would have let it go through. Going to go ahead and throw this Psycho Boost, hoping to either get the last shield or take out the Greedent, which we're able to go ahead and do. And I'm spamming to try to bring the Lugia back in, because I'm going to assume that they're going to bring in the Drifblim, but they don't. They bring in Scrafty. So this isn't too horrible either, especially since the counters that Scrafty are doing aren't doing anything. Look at that. I'm able to get to another Sky Attack, just kind of surviving the counters that it's throwing. And now they're going to go ahead and farm me down, and now I have to bring in the Armored Mewtwo because the the defense form Deoxys has to be my semi-win condition versus the Scrafty in the back. So I can't give up a shield right there. I have to go ahead and confusion down the Drifblim. I'm going to go ahead and throw this Dynamic Punch, which does get the shield, and now they're going to go ahead and throw a Foul Play, so I'm going to go ahead and block this, but it's a power-up punch bait. Doesn't really matter because I should be able to get to this Thunderbolt before they're able to get to another move, which I do. The Thunderbolt's going to be taking out the Scrafty, so that was a good game to my opponent. Very well played. I feel like if they didn't switch out the Drifblim from the Greedent, then they probably could have had a better win condition there, but I'm not going to complain too much about that. I'll take the win. Next up, another lead loss. We have the Abomasnow into the Lugia, and I have to go ahead and switch to Defense Form Deoxys. It can't do too much more to this Abomasnow, but at least these counters are going to do better. But then they bring in their own Lugia, a shiny Lugia flex at that, so I know that this is way too quick to be an Aeroblast, so I'm just going to go ahead and let the Sky Attack go. Deoxys took it pretty well, so I'm going to go ahead and throw this Thunderbolt. That does a decent amount of Lugia's health. Just trying to farm up a little bit more. These Dragon Tails are actually doing work on my Lugia at this time, so I'll go ahead and get the Lugia all the way down to the red, and they're going to go ahead and hit me with this next Sky Attack. I believe that I come in with the Armored Mewtwo next. Oh no, I go back with the Lugia, and then they're going to go ahead and bring in their Abomasnow. I tried to switch out in order to catch the Weather Ball on my Armored Mewtwo, but was unsuccessful. I was just one move too slow. So now I'm going to go ahead and bring in the Armored Mewtwo, and at this point I'm thinking about just aggressively farming this thing down with Confusion. That's probably not going to be the best play, so I'm thinking, okay, let me just go for the Side Strike now, but then they get to another Weather Ball. Abomasnow is just so spammy, it doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and throw this Side Strike and get the first shield off of them, and now at this point, I can go ahead and give up a shield or two and just Confusion this thing down and have energy for days. Block that next Weather Ball, and then they're going to come back in with the Lugia, and that actually helps my cause out just a little bit more, because now I'm able to completely farm up, and I'm at 2 Side Strikes. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the first one. They'd be foolish to shield it, so they let it go through, and they come in with the Nidoqueen. I switch out to my Lugia. Gonna start getting ahead on these Dragon Tails, and gonna go ahead and throw the Hydro Pump. This is either gonna get the last shield or it's gonna take out the Nidoqueen. Do get the last shield, so at this point all they can do is really farm me down and throw a Poison Fang. Yeah, Poison Fang. I got the Confusion through, so that did a little bit of damage that I needed to do, and this Side Strike is 100% going to take out the Nidoqueen, so that's going to be a good game to my opponent. It was a lot closer than I thought that it was going to be, but I was able to bank the win there in the end. Alright, and next up we have Lugia into Glarion Stunfist. Once again, another lead loss. So, these mud shots that the Stunfists are doing aren't really doing enough to threaten my Lugia, but the Rock Slide, the combination of the Rock Slides are actually doing a decent amount, so I know that I can survive at least 2 before I have to worry about shielding. The second one went through. Seems like that one did just a little bit more damage than the first one originally did, so I'm going to go ahead and throw this Hydro Pump. It does get the shield, so at this point I could try to go for a Sky Attack in order to do a little bit of chip damage. So I'm going to go ahead and get this Sky Attack off, and doesn't really do a whole lot, but just enough. And without giving up any shields, I get a shield and I get this Stunfist down to the yellow. So I'm going to go ahead and come in with the Defense Form Deoxys. It's not really the greatest matchup, but you know, with the counter damage, it's going to be a lot better. They go ahead and switch into their Gallade, and I go ahead and bring in my Armored Mewtwo. I'm taking resisted damage from their Confusion, and they're taking neutral damage from my Confusions due to the Psychic and Fighting typing. But these combinations of Confusions and Leaf Blades are really taking their toll. So at this point, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to aggressively farm this thing down. I'll go ahead and invest the shield right here. So I do give up the shield, and 2 Confusions later, I'm at 100 energy, and I go ahead and just completely Confusion down the Gallade. they come in with I believe it's a Machamp or a Surfetch, one of the two. So with their Shadow Machamp, and then they swap out to the Glarion Stunfist, and I'm just countering this thing down. They don't see any point in continuing forward, so the opponent surrendered. That's a good game to them, but once they lost, I believe it was Gallade, there was really nothing else that could have did anything against this team. And here in the last battle, we have Lugia against Jellicent. Once again, the 5th lead loss that I took in this matchup. This is why running a triple Psychic team, especially with Lugia in the lead, is really difficult. So Jellicent goes ahead and throws the Shadow Ball. I'm going to go ahead and build up to an Aeroblast. I'm going to throw the Sky Attack, hoping to get a shield, which I was able to successfully do. And going to go ahead and hit it with this second Sky Attack. That does a decent amount of damage. I should be able to get to another Sky Attack if they don't throw, but they're going to go ahead and throw their energy right here. It's going to just be a Bubble Beam, but enough in order to take me out. I can only come in with the Armored Mewtwo at this point because the counters from Defense Form Deoxys aren't going to be doing much of anything. So I kind of take this Shadow Ball right to the face, and I'm thinking, you know what, let me just go ahead and farm up. Confusion this thing completely down. What I should have done is I should have just given up 2 shields in order to preserve more health on my Armored Mewtwo, but I'm going to go ahead and bank what little energy that I have, and I'm going to go ahead and bring out the Defense Form Deoxys. They bought out their A9, but then switched to a Ferrothorn. So at this point, okay, I got 1 shield. I can counter this thing down. I really can't throw Psycho Boost right here and lower my attack. So what I have to do is I have to just throw these Thunderbolts and hope that I can get a decent amount of health off of this thing. So next they're going to go ahead and throw another Power Whip. Deoxys can't survive another one of those. So at this point I have to give up a shield. And they bait me with a Mirror Shot, which was super unfortunate. So now they're going to go ahead and come in with the Alolan Ninetales and catch on this Thunderbolt. And I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Armored Mewtwo. But I start to see the writing on the wall. The battle is pretty much over because they had a shield. And if it were a Powder Snow variant, then maybe we would have a chance. But since it was a Confusion variant, the opponent was able to go ahead and Confusion down my Mewtwo and then hit the Weather Ball on my Defense Form Deoxys. So that's going to be a good game. So even though I lost lead in all 5 of my battles, this team still managed to go 3-2 in the 5 battles that I did, or the 1 set that I ran it in. I wouldn't think that the algorithm would hate anybody else to give it 5 straight lead losses, but it's a pretty solid team if played the right way, even against Pokemon that it's clearly weak against. So it's something worth running if you feel like you can strategize around it. But let me know what you guys think about it. Again, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for joining my Go Battle League struggles. You guys have a good rest of your day.